there is a difference between healing and curing. Do you know the difference? Have you felt the difference in your life? Or maybe you want to feel the difference in your life. My name is Sylvia Mordini. I'm the founder of Life Inspired, and welcome to the Inspire series. If you are inspired, I love when you subscribe to my channel, so please click below. So the difference between healing and curing is a short-term fix. So let's say we're driving down the road and we get a flat tire. So curing is patching that flat tire so that we can continue going down the road. But that doesn't remove all the nails that we might find in the road or those things that might cause another flat tire. Healing, on the other hand, is more global, more holistic, and its power is to transform our entire life. So with that said, it has this ability, often, not always, to actually elicit something from it. And this is talked about in The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell, that as we go through the dark night of the soul and then we return back, completing the 12 cycles, we come back with an elixir, a potion, with some sort of resolution and way to help other people solve that same challenge. So when we go through a healing process ourselves, we learn the process and we come back very often with a way to help others heal that same thing. And it's powerful. And I've seen this at work in my own life. I've tried the short-term fix of curing, and that didn't last very long, because then I would just repeat the cycle. In yogic terms, we know this as a samskara, this repeated pattern. It's like Groundhog's Day, over and over, getting the same test and repeating the same lesson. But by transforming oneself, like the alchemist is able to transform something ordinary into something extraordinary, then there's this long-term benefit and sustainable experience that occurs. And so I want you to really journal about today, if you've been focused on modalities that offer you a cure rather than on modalities that offer you a healing. And who are you working with, right? You know, there's space in our wellness buffet to receive benefits from all sorts of well-care workers and healers. And so if we're looking at like short-term fixes, it may be a medicinal, right? Like just taking a pill, like a Band-Aid, right? But there are also energetic healers that are working on a deeper level of transformation. And my travels have taken me all over the world to work with shamans and healers of all varieties, those with medical degrees and those without, those that come from lineages of 11 generations of healers and those that went to medical school. And I've received benefit from both, but it's very clear to me often where I'm getting a cure versus where I'm getting healing, right? And when I had my TBI, traumatic brain injury, there was very little of either cures or healing. And there's still not that much written about what we know of the brain and how to heal a TBI, severe concussions. But what I've realized through that is I didn't want the short-term fix. I needed to understand my long-term healing, and that my path was not one of recovery, it was one of resiliency. That I was never going to get back to the same place that I started with. I was never going to have that same brain again, but it didn't make it worse or better. But based on resiliency, I would be able to heal and transform myself and my life to do a greater good and service for the world. As we change ourselves, we gain the knowledge to help change the world. So with TBI, it really helped me to see this distinction between cure and healing, and see that there was a long-term approach to the way that I viewed my TBI, and that was through the lens of healing, not just of just trying to cure it and fix myself back to the way I was before. Because the frustration from that, learning that that was never going to happen, ever. I was going to be the person before and then the person after the accident, but I couldn't be that person ever again. And that gave me great peace and supported me in having grace and ease in this process. So if anybody wants to talk about or learn more about TBI and the modalities I use, please reach out to me, or if you know someone that's struggling, put them in contact with me. I always love to share what I know about TBI. So one of the other differences with curing and healing is that there's a transformative process that occurs with healing, and some would talk about this in shamanism as an illumination, the illumination work that we do there, and that is literally taking something and transforming it into something that's a blend of what it's been, but something new at the same time. And this transformative work is really powerful. To be able to know that you have that power to change and to alchemize what's occurred into something good. So let me give you an example. When something traumatic happens, we have a wound. And if we just use modalities like talking about that wound, talking about that trauma, talking about it, it may or may not offer us a long-term healing. We will feel good going to sit on the couch at the therapist's office. We'll feel good, we'll feel better, even a little bit better than we did when we walked in by talking about that same trauma. But at some point, just eliciting the triggers and the feelings and the emotions by talking about that same trauma, that same wound, and tweaking it over and over is not helping us heal. We may have a little bit of a short-term fix on like talking about it that feels like a small little cure, but we just bring it back up over and over and over. And I remember a therapist I worked with who was also a shaman, Western trained and Eastern as well. He said, I'm gonna outlast you. So you could keep coming back and sitting on this couch for as many years as you want, telling me the same story, but I will outlast you. I will be here longer than you will be here, so just keep coming back and paying me. But until you want to heal and transform this wound into wisdom, then we're just going to be doing the same thing. And that was really powerful. So that's this illumination effect that occurs when we're looking at a healing track, so that we take the wound, the trauma, but we no longer have to talk about the detail. We don't talk about the detail. It's now transformed, alchemized into a wisdom, into a knowledge, into an awareness that we can offer to help other people, or just use internally to have a viewpoint of compassion and how we look at our lives. So it becomes a way for us to develop the superpower of empathy as well, when we are illuminating something and transforming that wound into wisdom, so that then we understand when other people have gone through a similar hurt or situation or pain or trauma. We understand because we've been through it. We don't have to go through all the detail of our experience. Not necessary, because we have healed that wound. And the other part of the difference between cure and healing is that when we attract relationships, if you attract relationships from your wound, you will attract and be in relationship from their wound to your wound, wound to wound. And that is not a healthy foundation or basis for a sustainable, happy, healthy relationship. If you're in relationship from your wound to their wound, that's not going to be the happiest place to build from. Instead, we create relationships from our worth, from our wisdom. And if you're in your worth and wisdom, and they're in their worth and wisdom, and you come together, that's an alchemized, magical experience of love and compassion and support and peace and growth. And so that is like this conscious coupling that's occurring if you are uniting from your wisdom and worth. But if you're uniting from your wounds, you can both come up and be like, yeah, I've cured this and I've cured that with the short-term fix, but you're still in your wounds, not so good. But if you are in that place of healing, they have done their work and they're in that place of healing, and you've transmuted, transformed, and illuminated that into worth and wisdom, now that union is divine, beautiful, and is really setting the foundation for a healthy and continued healing relationship. So think about where you are in your relationships. Think about even the types of jobs that you are attracting, the places that you're living, the people, your friend group. What is happening there? Are you working only on cures and just staying in wounds with other people, or are you working on your healing and they're working on their healing? And that way we're elevating everyone from a healing place, a transformative place. So write down what is coming up for you, and remember this as well. We can't stress ourselves to solutions. Stressing to just get that band-aid and that short-term fix for a cure is not going to be of a long-term benefit. You can't stress to solution. Healing is more of a long-term experience. It takes a while, but there's a lot less stress in that experience of healing. It's not from scarcity and this place of fear and urgency. It's calm and loving and peaceful. So hold that to heart as well. But for today, take a big breath in, open mouth, exhale, put your hands on your heart center. May you be here in this container with me in this sacred space, from your wisdom, from your worth, from your healing. I honor you for all that you have been working on in yourself. As you heal yourself, you heal the world. And from my heart to your heart, may you love yourself, love your day, and love your life.